All right. Hello again. So, this time, and I'm really excited about this, I made my own Midi controller. It's a simple, powerful tool that I'm going to be using mainly to control the playback and recording in my DAW without having to reach for my mouse or my keyboard. And it's especially nice because when I'm playing guitar, I don't want to be doing that and dropping my pick and so on. So because it's quite a hassle. Custom build, very cheap. I can hook 6 expression pedals into it. We'll see a little bit about the build later. The buttons are all soft touch. And yeah, I've already mapped it to play, stop, record, and overdubbing on Ableton. I got Serum open, Serum 2 here. We're ready to see how it works. So first of all, I'm gonna take my keyboard here. We got play. There we go. And then we got stop. When I press it again, I go to the beginning. And then we got record. There we go. And then if we press this, we got a loop here with nothing on it though yet. So let's do that again. So this is just for example, so nothing special here. I just want to show you how the controller works. So then, let's use the expression pedal. So we can map these things to whatever we want, and as we can see, the modulation wheel, this is already mapped on there. So what I'm gonna then do, I can take this and put it on the filter cutoff. There we go. And then when we start playing, there we go. That's it in action. There's gonna be more video about the build. If you're into this sort of stuff, I do recommend build something like this. And what I intend to do is actually make the code and instructions available. When I get to that and do that, they will be available on my Ko-fi page, and then you should be able to build your own. All right, thanks for watching, and let's get to the build and I'll explain a bit more about it. And here we can see the prototyping stage, and it is working. I have tested this with Ableton Live. We can take a look at it here. So let's see. All right, so that button there's the code on Arduino. So this button, if I press play, you can see go. Now it's playing, and then when I press the button, it stops. And then the expression pedal is controlling our volume. There we go. So this is fully functional. I'm just gonna add more buttons and more jacks. So what I'm gonna have on the enclosure are jacks, so I can actually hook 6 of these up if I want to. And yeah, that will give a lot of opportunities. All right, so here we go. So what we want to do is make sure that everything fits. So first of all, I'm gonna take a look at the Arduino, and the idea is to mount it over there like that, and I'm gonna be soldering this piece of Vero board to it, and that's gonna be, because this is basically a prototype, so I might do a PCB for it, probably not. I'm just gonna keep this in this stage, but we can say that the Arduino will fit just fine. So that's gonna be good, and I'll probably have the hole on this side somewhere on the bottom, because then we gotta take into consideration that the pots are gonna be like that. And then when we take a look at the Arduino, we can see that there should be no problem with that either. Let's say it's, oh, actually the height is around that, so we have a lot of clearance there, so there's not going to be a problem with the Arduino fitting. But then, since we're gonna have these pots, and these are, yeah, so these will take pretty much the same space as the soft touch ones. So what we wanna, of course, make sure is that our jacks fit under them, and they will, so there's not going to be a problem. But that's a good thing to keep in mind, so I'm gonna drill the holes like as low as I can, pretty much. But that in mind, if we are going to have these here like this, we do have enough clearance like that as well, more than enough. And then the LEDs don't really take too much space at all, so, and I'm going to be having those just in case I want to use them. So I'll drill holes and put placeholder LEDs there, and of course for the record I'll have the red one that will be in use. So then I'll just start measuring. I'm gonna see how much I want switch to be from the side, how much from here, and then I'll just divide this up, and I'll have my places. And for the moment, I think I'm just gonna have one stereo jack in this enclosure, and then later on, well, I'm probably gonna drill 2 or 3, and then later on, if I want to expand, I'll be able to do that. But unfortunately, I'm out of these, so I should order more so I can build a little bit or expand this. So for now, I'm just gonna drill 2 holes, 3 holes, and then have one jack already in there, and then later on I'll revisit solder the other ones when I order them and put them in place. And then I'll have the place for the expression pedal and for this little thing that I'll be using with it. So yeah, now I'll just start my measurements after I'm done. I'm gonna auto punch the marks where I marked the places for these, and then I'll drill the holes. And after that it's soldering time. So, all right. So we got our holes marked, and then I'll put something under there and start punching the holes, and that's how that works like. And after that I take my drill bit and then I'll switch to this. So that's just how I'll do the whole thing until I got the holes I need on there. Alright, so the first step with the soldering is soldering. I'm gonna solder these blur boards on the Arduino, and shouldn't take too long. There we go. And as we can see, we got the ground. So we got this side and this side, so we should have enough spots for the ground. But we can always do some tricks if we run out of space. But yeah, that will work. And then later on, I will figure out how I will attach this into the enclosure so I can be hooking up the USB when I need and take it out. But yeah, that's it. Looking good, should work. And now we're ready to solder some parts on this. All right, here we are. So I'm gonna put these in place, and to make it look cool for now, at least, I'm gonna put some of these here. That one I leave. I want certain color over there, and I don't have it, so just put that one on later. All right, and then I'll tighten those up. Something like this. And that will be the controller. Then we'll have this on the side, maybe a couple of these at some point. So yeah, I'll make a little pedal board for this too. There we go. And the micro would actually give me 6 buttons with LED feedback. So you know, if you'd like to do a bigger one, that is, well, totally doable. And then 6 analog pins here. So like I said, I can have six different potentiometer things here. All right, here we are. The switches, the grounds are hooked up, and so are the LEDs. So then I just have to connect all of these into their correct pins, do the jack, and I already hooked this up to ground here, and it's gonna be just fine like that, touching nothing. It shouldn't. So where I can, I just use this, and yeah, it makes everything pretty clean and easy in that way. And this really just holds in place nicely. So yeah, on to the next stage. Here it is, all done. All I gotta do is get the board in place. Everything is working. I already tested it out. I switched this one to a button like that. Everything's working as it should. The LEDs light up. That's in place. So yeah, pretty simple simple thing to do. And I'll hook this up, get it closed, and after that we're gonna see how it works. All right, there we go. That's how it turned out. I actually hot glued these on, couldn't find ones that have a small enough inner diameter, so hot glue, pretty good for something like this because it easily comes off. So I can rip those off without breaking the switches, I hope. And the pedal is calibrated and working. It's pretty good. The D palms is something I might still tune, and coding the Arduino and messing around with it can be a little finicky, so I had to restart my computer quite a lot because it loses connection. And right now I'm also trying to figure out if I have any problems with this and my audio software. So, but so far it is working. My DAWs Ableton Studio One recognize it,